Can Venezuela stop the United States? This is a huge question. It involves two nations. One is a superpower, another is a smaller country in South America. Venezuela has a powerful friend. That friend is Russia. Russia sells Venezuela many advanced weapons. These weapons make Venezuela's military stronger. People wonder if these weapons are enough. Can they really challenge the United States' immense power? This is not just about guns and tanks. It is about politics. It is about influence. It is about two worlds colliding right in America's backyard. This story is full of energy. It has big personalities. It has high stakes. Venezuela's leader, Nicolas Maduro, wants to show strength. He wants to defy United States. Russia's leader, Vladimir Putin, has his own goals. He wants to poke at his rival. He wants to extend Russia's reach, so he sends weapons, he sends money, he sends support. This creates a tense situation. It makes everyone watch closely. What happens in Venezuela could change power dynamics. It could create new problems for Washington. This essay will explore this complex relationship. We will look at history. We will see how this friendship started. We will examine where Venezuela is located. Its location is very important. We will detail what weapons Russia has provided. We will look at factories built on Venezuelan soil. These factories make Russian guns and bullets. This is a game changer. It gives Venezuela more independence. It makes bypassing sanctions easier for both countries. Finally, we will weigh both sides. What makes Venezuela a potential threat? What holds it back? Is its army truly capable, or is this all for show? The answer is not simple. It has many layers. It involves military facts. It involves economic realities. It involves political ambitions. We will dive deep into this topic. We will try to understand if this alliance is more about creating headlines than building real military might. This is a story of power in our modern world. Where is Venezuela? Its location is key to this entire story. Venezuela sits on northern coast of South America. It has a long coastline on Caribbean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. This is a very strategic spot. It is not far from United States. Florida is only about 1,600 miles away. This proximity makes Washington nervous. A hostile nation with advanced weapons so close is a concern. It brings potential threats much nearer to home. It changes security calculations for United States. For Russia, this location is a golden opportunity. It gives Russia a foothold in Western Hemisphere. It is like having a friend in your rival's neighborhood. During Cold War, Soviet Union had Cuba. Now Russia has Venezuela. This allows Russia to project power far from its own borders. It can send ships. It can fly bombers. It can conduct military exercises. All of this happens in an area United States considers its sphere of influence. It is a bold move. It sends a clear message of defiance. Think about what this means. Any conflict or tension is not happening thousands of miles away. It is happening relatively close by. Venezuela's coast provides access to important sea lanes. These lanes are vital for trade and military movements. Having a partner there gives Russia a strategic advantage. It can monitor United States naval activity. It can gather intelligence. It creates a new front line in global competition. It is a geographic chess piece that Russia is playing very skillfully. Venezuela itself uses its location as leverage. Its leaders know their country's position matters. They use it to attract powerful allies like Russia and China. They know that being close to United States makes them more valuable to America's rivals. This geographic fact is the foundation of their foreign policy. It shapes their alliances. It defines their strategy for survival against a much larger power. Location is not just geography. In this case, location is power itself. How did Venezuela and Russia become such close partners? This friendship is not very old. It started with a man named Hugo Chavez. He became Venezuela's president in 1999. Chavez had a strong anti-United States stance. He wanted to break free from American influence in Latin America. He needed new friends, powerful friends. He looked across world. He found a willing partner in Russia. This was the beginning of a deep and lasting alliance. It started in early 2000s. Chavez and Russia's leaders saw eye to eye. They both wanted a world with less American dominance. They shared a vision of a multipolar world. This means a world with many centers of power, not just one. Russia was rebuilding its strength after Soviet Union's collapse. It wanted to reclaim its status as a global player. Venezuela, with its vast oil wealth, was a perfect ally. It had money to buy weapons. It had a leader who was not afraid to challenge Washington directly. The relationship grew quickly. Chavez started buying billions of dollars of Russian military equipment. He was building what he called a Bolivarian revolution. He needed to protect it. He saw United States as a constant threat. Russia was happy to sell him what he needed. Jets, tanks, helicopters, and missile systems started flowing into Venezuela. This was not just business. It was a strategic partnership. Each country got something it wanted. Venezuela got weapons. Russia got influence and a key ally. When Chavez died, his successor, Nicolas Maduro, continued this policy. He made friendship with Russia even stronger. Maduro faced immense pressure from the United States. Sanctions crippled Venezuela's economy. Many countries did not recognize him as president, but Russia stood by him. It gave him diplomatic support. It provided economic lifelines. It continued to deepen military ties. This shared opposition to United States policy became glue that holds alliance together. It is a bond created by a common enemy. Why is Russia so important in this story? Russia is a massive country. It is the largest country on Earth by land area. It has a powerful military. It has a huge nuclear arsenal. For decades, it was United States' main rival during the Cold War. After a period of weakness, Russia is reasserting itself on the world stage under Vladimir Putin. It is challenging American influence everywhere. In Europe, in the Middle East, and now, in Latin America, its size and history give it global weight. Russia's government is strong and centralized. It can make big decisions quickly. When it decides to support a country like Venezuela, it can commit significant resources. It has a vast defense industry. It produces some of the world's most famous weapons like Kalashnikov rifles and Sukhoi fighter jets. These weapons are effective. They are also cheaper than many Western alternatives. This makes them attractive to countries that cannot or will not buy from the United States. Russia is a major player in the global arms market. For Russia, Venezuela is more than just a customer, it is a strategic asset. By supporting Maduro's government, Russia achieves several goals. It distracts the United States. It forces Washington to spend time and resources in its own hemisphere. This takes pressure off Russia in other parts of the world like Ukraine. It also demonstrates that Russia is a loyal ally. It shows other countries that Russia will not abandon its friends, even under intense international pressure. This builds Russia's reputation as a reliable partner. Russia's global ambitions are clear. It wants to be seen as an equal to the United States. It wants to have a say in how the world is run. Its alliance with Venezuela is a key part of this strategy. It is a way to project power right up to America's doorstep. It is a symbolic and practical challenge. Every Russian ship that docks in a Venezuelan port, every Russian bomber that lands on a Venezuelan runway, sends a message. The message is simple. Russia is here. Russia is a global power, and Russia is not going away. So, why do Venezuela and Russia work together so closely? Well, the reasons are honestly a mix of politics, economics, and, pure survival. For Venezuela, the alliance is basically a lifeline. Under President Maduro, the country has faced some pretty extreme pressure. The United States imposed heavy sanctions. These sanctions targeted Venezuela's oil industry, which is actually its main source of income. That caused a severe economic crisis, and Maduro's government became really isolated. Over 50 countries did not recognize his presidency after a controversial election. He seriously needed powerful friends to survive. That's where Russia stepped in to fill this void. It offered political and diplomatic support. When others condemned Maduro, Russia recognized his government. Russia even used its veto power at the United Nations Security Council to block actions against Venezuela. This gave Maduro's government legitimacy on the world stage. Russia also provided economic help. It sent wheat when people were hungry and helped Venezuela's state oil company, PDVSA, find ways to sell its oil and bypass American sanctions. Honestly, this support was crucial for Maduro's political survival. For Russia, the benefits are just as important. The alliance is a low-cost way to challenge the United States. It creates a problem for Washington in its own backyard, which forces the United States to focus on Latin America. That, in turn, distracts from Russia's actions elsewhere, like its war in Ukraine. By propping up Maduro, Russia shows it can, thwart American foreign policy goals. It proves the United States cannot simply dictate outcomes even in its own hemisphere, and that really enhances Russia's image as a global power. There's also an economic angle here. Before sanctions got even tougher, Venezuela was a huge customer for Russian weapons, buying billions of dollars worth of military hardware. These days, Russian energy companies like Rosneft are active in Venezuela's oil fields. They help produce and export oil, generating revenue for both countries. They've even introduced Russia's MIR payment system in Venezuela. So this cooperation helps both nations resist Western economic pressure. In the end, it's a partnership born of shared interests and a common adversary. So what weapons does Venezuela actually have from Russia? Well, the list is honestly long and pretty impressive. Venezuela became one of Russia's biggest arms customers, and its arsenal is now one of the most powerful in Latin America. The crown jewels are definitely its fighter jets. Venezuela operates a fleet of advanced Sukhoi Su-30 fighter jets. These are powerful, twin-engine planes capable of both air-to-air combat and ground attacks. They represent a significant upgrade to Venezuela's air force, and honestly, they're a visible symbol of Russian military technology right in America's backyard. But it's not just about the skies. The ground forces also got a major boost. Venezuela purchased hundreds of Russian T-72 tanks. These are main battle tanks that form the backbone of many armies around the world. To support its troops, Venezuela also bought Mi-17 transport helicopters and Mi-35 attack helicopters. For air defense, which is, crucial for fending off an attack from a powerful air force, Venezuela acquired S-300 VM systems. This is a long-range, surface-to-air missile system designed to shoot down aircraft and cruise missiles from a great distance. Perhaps the most significant development, though, is local production. Russia isn't just selling weapons, it's helping Venezuela build them. In Maracay, a city in Venezuela, a factory is now producing AK-103 Kalashnikov rifles. This is actually the first of its kind in South America, and it can make up to 25,000 rifles per year. That means Venezuela's army can be supplied with modern rifles made right at home, reducing reliance on foreign shipments, which could be blocked during a conflict. Even more important is a new ammunition factory. Near Maracay, an operational plant is producing 7.62mm cartridges for these rifles. It can make up to 70 million bullets a year, and this factory is also a first for the region. Having a domestic supply of ammunition is a massive strategic advantage. It means your army can keep fighting. And just recently, in July 2024, Maduro announced new missile systems developed with Russian help. This move toward self-sufficiency makes Venezuela's military posture much more resilient and honestly, a greater long-term concern. This is the central question. With all these Russian weapons, can Venezuela truly stop a United States military intervention? The answer is almost certainly no. A direct full-scale conflict would be a total mismatch. The United States military is the world's most powerful. Its budget is over 100 times larger than Venezuela's. It has vastly superior technology, a larger and better trained force, and a global logistics network that can sustain a long campaign. No amount of Russian jets or tanks can change this fundamental reality. The United States possesses overwhelming air and sea power. It has stealth bombers that are, really difficult to detect. It has aircraft carriers that are basically floating cities with their own air forces. It's got advanced satellite and surveillance technology that would give it a complete picture of the battlefield. While Venezuela's S-300 air defense system is formidable, it would be a primary target. The United States has extensive experience in dismantling such systems. A determined American attack would likely overwhelm Venezuela's defenses relatively quickly. However, stopping an invasion is not the same as winning a war. Venezuela's strategy wouldn't be to defeat the United States in a conventional battle. Its goal would be to make an invasion so costly that Washington would decide it's just not worth it. This is called asymmetric warfare. Using its Russian weapons, Venezuela could inflict significant casualties. Su-30 jets could challenge American air superiority, at least in the beginning. S-300 missiles could shoot down some planes. T-72 tanks could make a ground invasion difficult and bloody. But the real challenge would come after any initial invasion. Venezuela is a large country with tough terrain, including mountains and jungles. Its military, armed with hundreds of thousands of locally produced Kalashnikov rifles, could wage a long and brutal guerrilla war. This is a lesson the United States has learned in places like Iraq and Afghanistan. A quick victory might be possible, but pacifying the country could take years and cost countless lives and dollars. The political will in the United States for such a conflict is very low, and honestly, this is Venezuela's true deterrent. Let's look at both sides of the coin here. What really helps Venezuela? Its biggest advantage is the political cost of an attack. Invading Venezuela would be highly controversial. It would unite much of Latin America against the United States. It would be seen as an act of imperialism, and this political fallout is a powerful deterrent. The presence of Russian weapons definitely raises the stakes. An attack on Venezuela could damage or, even kill Russian personnel who might be there as advisors. This could create a direct confrontation between two nuclear powers. Another major strength is the move toward military self-sufficiency. The rifle and ammunition factories are, honestly, game changers. They ensure that even if Venezuela is blockaded, its soldiers can keep fighting. This ability to sustain a long-term resistance makes the prospect of an occupation a nightmare. The arsenal of Russian weapons, while not enough to win outright, is enough to make any aggressor bleed. The S-300 system forces an attacker to be much more careful. The Su-30 jets mean the airspace will be contested. These are all things that make a military planner pause and think twice. However, Venezuela has some serious weaknesses. Its military suffers from major problems. Much of its equipment, even the Russian hardware, is aging and poorly maintained. There's a chronic shortage of spare parts, and that problem is made worse by Russia's own war in Ukraine, which eats up a ton of resources. Morale among troops is reportedly low, affected by the country's long economic crisis. Corruption is widespread. It's honestly unclear how well these advanced weapon systems are actually being operated and maintained. Furthermore, Russia's support has its limits. Russia hasn't given Venezuela any new loans since 2018, and its own military is stretched thin. It may not have the capacity to send large amounts of new equipment or spare parts in a crisis. While Russia provides political cover, its ability to intervene militarily to save Maduro is highly questionable. Venezuela's economy, despite some recent recovery, is still fragile. A long war would completely destroy it. So while Venezuela has the means to raise the cost of an invasion, it lacks the foundation for a sustained, high-intensity war. So is this alliance between Venezuela and Russia a real military threat or just political theater? The conclusion is that it's mostly political theater, but with very real and dangerous props. Venezuela cannot stop a full-scale United States invasion. The military imbalance is simply too vast. But that's not the real purpose of this alliance. The goal isn't to win a war. The goal is to prevent one from ever starting. And honestly, in that, the partnership has been quite successful. The Russian weapons, the joint military exercises, and the fiery speeches are all part of a carefully crafted performance. It's a show of defiance aimed at a domestic audience in Venezuela and an international audience in Washington. For Maduro, it projects strength and tells his people he has powerful friends. For Putin, it's a low-cost, high-impact way to needle his main geopolitical rival. It keeps the United States off balance. It creates a narrative that Russia is a global power with global reach. The symbolism is just as important as the substance. However, calling it pure theater is a mistake. The weapons are real. The S-300 missiles can shoot down real planes. The AK-103 rifles fire real bullets. The factories are producing real munitions. This hardware gives Venezuela a genuine deterrent. It raises the potential cost of any military action to a level that's likely politically unacceptable for the United States. The threat isn't about defeat. It's about the risk of a bloody, costly, and endless quagmire. And that's a very real threat. In the end, this alliance is a brilliant example of modern geopolitics. It's less about military power and more about political leverage. It's a tool for survival for one nation, and a tool for global competition for another. It shows that in today's world, you don't need to be able to win a war to achieve your political goals. Sometimes, you just need to make sure the other side knows that a war would be too messy to start. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is this partnership a stroke of genius or a dangerous gamble? Share your opinions below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like down below. It would really help me out. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. Also, feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts and share the video with friends who might be interested in the topic. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.